Very excited to be talking to somebody I hold in high esteem, a friend, a former boss, somebody I admire, somebody I look up to, Peter Wharton-Hood, CEO of Life Healthcare. How are you, Pete?
Lincoln, great to be here. And I'm so excited. The energy in the room this morning, just wonderful to be here and great to see what you're doing.
It's taken me 2 years to get you. The first year you were traveling, and I thought, I'm going to get you this year. What makes somebody like you give up your time to spend with young people? Yes.
This is all about South Africa.
Yes.
Love the country. As you know, I lived overseas for the best part of 6 years. Came home. This is the place to be. And this place can be better than it is, but it takes leadership. And the young people are going to make the difference.
Yes.
That's why I'm here.
You had a choice to stay overseas, and I'll come back to the roles you were playing in one of the best banks in the world, and you chose to come back here. You didn't even have a sense of what you would do, but you wanted to come back. Why?
It's an emotional moment for me because this country gave me everything that I've got. And how do I pay it back? What could I do? And there was an instinct which said, go home. And as you said, I had no idea.
Yeah.
But the powers that be found the right thing for me to do, and we would never ever have predicted that I would go from international banking to South African healthcare.
Yeah.
It was an impossible prediction.
Young people sometimes think of life or their careers as linear. I've studied finance, therefore I'll be a finance director. I've studied marketing. Your world has given you challenges that have stemmed from finance, banking, retail banking, operations, IT, now healthcare. What message do you want to give to young people about thinking about their careers?
You can't think linearly. You got to keep your head down.
Yeah.
You got to focus.
Yeah.
You got to work hard.
Yeah.
Pick your boss.
Yes. Yes.
And we all know how generous Jacko was to me.
Yes.
Taught me fortunes.
Yes.
And off the back of that experience and hard work, doors started to open.
Yeah.
So doors open and opportunities get created once you've delivered and once you've worked hard.
Yes. Yes. That's important because in your career, you got an opportunity to go and deal with a very difficult challenge an organization was dealing with, which was the Netco takeover of Standard Bank. And you were young, but Jacko and others backed you. When I came up through the ranks, you gave me an opportunity. This notion of choosing people at an early age and backing them for big tasks.
Absolutely, and in the course of the discussion which we'll have with the delegates a little bit later on, I think one of the key secrets to leadership success is you have to pick people better than you.
Yeah.
And I've always said, when I'm the dumbest person in the room, my job's done. Because that means you've assembled intellect and capabilities way better than yourself, and you let them get the work done, because then there's leverage.
Yeah.
If you're the smartest person in the room, how are you going to get stuff done? So you have to pick people with different skills, and that leads me to the next topic, that diversity is absolutely fundamental. Diversity of views, backgrounds, experiences, outlooks, different conversational topics that are brought to bear, much better decisions. And I learned that, interestingly, here.
Yes.
I took it to Europe.
Yes.
And I'm bringing it back with a different lens, because our version of diversity in South Africa needs to be broadened.
It's very narrow.
There's a space for everybody.
Yes.
And the minute a corporation, a team, actually understands that value, they become winners.
Yeah.
Just look at the South African rugby team.
Yes, because again, what Rassie did was he said, guys, squad depth, winning, and diversity of the team. I'm going to make all of those things happen, and they'll be possible. Did it in Japan, did it in France, And you can already see what he's building for the next one. So the building that base of a broad team, diverse skills, diverse experience, different ways of thinking.
Great example.
You've been living that in your
Great
in your
example.
work.
And what Rassi did, there are people that come from very poor backgrounds,
Yes.
very rich backgrounds.
Yes.
I think racial identity is not even an issue.
Yes.
We don't talk about it.
Yes.
And look how good they are.
Yeah. You know, in the Chasing the Sun,
Oh,
Sia talks about how it felt when he was picked, but he didn't feel that he was included.
absolutely.
Because people were saying, is there a quota and whatever. And sometimes people don't understand the importance of somebody backing you and believing in you. When you asked me to be part of your exco, I knew that you backed me. If I was wrong, you would be on my case. If I've done well, you would celebrate me. But I was a member of your team. I was not a member of your team because you had to. You chose me. And just talk about how that, because for leaders who are choosing people, how does this full backing, how much is it important for somebody to thrive?
And you know, you mentioned that quota word.
Yeah,
This country's moved,
Yes.
we've moved a long way from there.
yeah,
You've got to pick people that you need.
yeah,
You've got to pick people because they're good.
yeah,
You've got to back them because you want them to succeed.
yes,
You mustn't back them because you feel there's this sort of burden and obligation, and therefore, yeah, let me pick Lincoln because then I look good, but I'm not sure he can get the job done, but I'll sort of back him. That's a disaster. You know why we picked you.
yes,
We
Yes.
knew what you could do,
yes.
and look how well you did. And did it come easily? No. Because there was moments of integration, there were
Yes.
moments of support, there were
Yes.
moments you had your own elements of
Yes.
self-doubt.
Yes,
We had some differences of opinion.
yes.
And
With
look,
robust debates.
absolutely.
Yes.
And you were always right and I was always wrong.
I wish.
No, but where it gets to, and I think this is a shining, one of the shining examples that you and I can both remember, that an open-mindedness, the ability to think like a team player,
Yes.
put your ego somewhere
Yes,
else and
yes.
get stuff done.
Yes.
And that's what this country needs now.
You know, you take on the retail bank, one of the youngest people to ever lead the retail bank, at a time where its way of thinking and its relation, how we related to people and all of that, you come, you revolutionize that, you make people feel, wow, this guy's talking to us. He's not Mr. Wandudund, he's Pete. You and Bondi go around, do road shows, you create Blue Wave and all of things. Why for you is engagement with staff important?
No staff, no business. And that, I think, and retail banking epitomizes that, and we can talk about healthcare as well, that you know, the essence of delivering to customers is not the chief executive with a good idea.
Yeah.
It's about tens of thousands of people that wake up
Yes.
understanding what quality means,
Yes.
understanding what service means,
Yeah.
and wanting to do it.
Yeah.
That's why we ended up being better than the rest, because there was a team of people that wanted to deliver that ultimate level of success, which was customer satisfaction.
You came with this thing of, guys, I want this rah-rah. Right? And I call it the Chias. And people are like, what a bank. We can't be doing that. And you created this havoc where people were energized. And I was watching, looking there, and I said, I want to be like that. I want to do that. When I was looking at you and Craig Bond, I was like, when I get to that role, I want to be like that. Talk to us about that thing of in a company, this sense of the Chias, the fun, taking a mickey of one another, not taking each other seriously, you know,
Yeah,
the naughty streak you had.
No, I think you've got to take your business seriously,
Yeah.
but you can't take yourself too seriously. Otherwise, you find yourself, your thoughts start to stagnate.
Yes.
I think the craziest thing I did with the then chairman of the bank, Dr. Strauss, was when I dyed my hair blue. I think he thought I was mad.
Wow.
But that will be remembered for two reasons. One, it's kind of out of the box thinking.
Yeah.
No one will forget it.
Yeah.
And two, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
I dyed my hair blue because loyal, determined,
Yes.
wanted to beat the Green Bank, etc.
Yes.
And I think that that transparency that comes in a leadership environment is important. You've got to, if you aren't what you say you are, people are too smart. They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So you can't bluff.
Yeah.
So authentic leadership, I think, is an important moment of not only testing yourself and what you stand for, but opening that up for other people to see. So the enjoyment also gets to one of the cornerstones of leadership. Leadership can be unpopular,
Yeah.
but it also can be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get the balance.
Get the balance right. Yeah. You know, we talk about career paths sometimes as if they have no ups and downs. When you are identified as talent and there are people backing you, either you can show up for that talent and do great things, or you can flop. But the spotlight is on you, and some unkind things can happen. So people can say, you are Jacko's favorite. So it doesn't matter what you do. Tell me about that pressure that arises from being a focus point because you're chosen at a young age, you're given big tasks and whatever. How do young people who get that nod, how do they deal with those issues of being in the limelight and having to perform under that pressure when you know there may be a lot of detractors?
Yeah, and that does test one.
Yeah.
I think it's very flattering when people in positions of authority, power, respected people choose you.
Yeah.
It's flattering for a very, very short moment in time. And if you get used to it, you're dead.
Yeah.
The opportunity really is by one, well, you've got to see it as a door that's opened for you,
Yes.
and walking through it is the easy part. Now you've got to deliver.
Yes.
Because the stakes have gone up.
Yes.
Everybody's watching,
Yeah.
and it's a competitive world. Not everyone wants everyone else to succeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the detractors are there because they've got to keep you honest.
Yeah.
And if you know that people are out there with a critical eye, it makes you determined to do what's right. And my own recipe book was, I just said I will outwork the competition.
Yes.
And that played out when I went overseas, that, yeah, I'm not smarter than the rest, but I have a sense of determination and a sense of hard work and a hard-working ethic, which is tough for other people to match.
Yeah.
So you all pick your own games,
Yeah.
the game that you can play. I mean, I can't outgees Lincoln. I can't. No, your presence and the way that you get engagement to work and you get people excited. I mean, you're unique.
Yeah.
I can't do that. So I'm good at different things.
Yes.
So you must play the game that you're good at,
Yeah.
but also be very aware of the fact that when people have made a bet on you, don't let them down.
Yeah. That's key.
And that it shouldn't be a moment where you rest on your laurels and say, I've been chosen.
Yes.
It should be, oops, now the pressure's gone up,
Yeah.
I better deliver.
Then, at the top of your game, leading Data Bank, a global institution, you come to healthcare and you have to reinvent yourself. Talk to us about why healthcare. Where do you think the excitement is in the future for healthcare?
I didn't choose healthcare, healthcare chose me. So there were 7 coincidences that occurred in my life starting the 17th of January of 2020. And it's too long a story to tell. We don't have enough time, and we can we'll have a drink and I'll tell you how they went. But 7 individual coincidences over a period of 5 months, which included a conversation on a golf course in America, meeting the legendary Dr. Toby Cosgrove, who's like the Tiger Woods of healthcare, enrolling just out of curiosity on a Harvard online course in healthcare, to a headhunter, to an off-the-cuff remark to the headhunter, to an invitation from a board member, to getting the job in the middle of COVID. Lincoln, I didn't design that. So if someone had said on the 29th of August of 2020, I would step in the middle of COVID to run a healthcare company that was losing money with 25,000 employees operating in 26 countries around the world, wouldn't have predicted it. So the reinvention was out of necessity.
Yes.
In part because I'd left banking behind.
Yeah.
In part because my dear wife Sarah said retirement's not an option. She said,
I'm on the Sarah side. Having you there the whole day is not going to work.
she said,
Yeah.
go out and find a job.
Yeah.
And my desire to do something different meant that I wasn't going to go back into banking. And the stars aligned and put me into healthcare.
Brilliant.
And it's been, Lincoln, it's been amazing.
Wow.
It's been absolutely amazing.
I have enjoyed watching you showcase what is possible with technology, with robotics, with data analytics, what the future of healthcare looks like. I mean, I'm sometimes in awe. I'm like, only Pete can do this. Make healthcare this exciting and sexy. Tell us about what you think of the future of healthcare, you know, with all the advent of the new technologies and all that.
My initial observations in healthcare were quite unkind.
Yes.
I walked into life healthcare and I said, technology in life healthcare is 20 years behind the banks.
Yes.
And the life healthcare environment's got very smart people in it.
Yes.
So yes, I'm the dumbest person in the room, which is fine. But they embrace the challenge.
Yeah.
And I think that the vision for healthcare and the use of technology is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And it's changing at such a rapid rate that principally the area that we showed real competence in as a company was in diagnostics.
Yes.
And the use of diagnostics and the early detection of disease is critical for getting the right care to people timeously so that they heal quickly.
Yes.
So when one thinks of diagnostics, most people refer to x-rays and sonar, and maybe they'll talk about a CT scan, or maybe they'll talk about an MRI scan. Nuclear medicine, personalized medicine, new frontier. And I think that's where we've got really excited, and a couple of groundbreaking things have started to happen,
Yes.
led by the South African company,
Wow.
which is really, really inspirational. So I learn every day.
Now, you have this debate about access to better healthcare, whilst there is a need to invest in healthcare to get all these technologies. How do you find that balance in thinking about the future of healthcare with more access, but better technology and, you know, a better investment choice for people who want to invest in healthcare?
But yeah, Lincoln, I learned how to do that in banking.
Yeah.
You and I both remember
Yes.
Mzansi.
Yes.
Mzansi was,
Yes.
we need to give accessible banking to
Yes.
poor people everywhere in the
Yes.
country.
Yeah.
What did four
Yes.
big banks do?
Yeah.
They provided a product that was accessible.
Yes.
So when one looks back and says, accessible, affordable healthcare has to happen across our country.
Yes.
We know that that's what the NHI is seeking to deliver.
Yes.
We've got a key role to play as Life Healthcare as one of the biggest private providers.
Yeah.
The difference that we faced with in banking, the cooperation with the central bank, was we were like this.
Yes.
In healthcare, the cooperation with the Department of Health,
Yes.
it's fractured.
Yes.
And I think that's where leadership has to step up, that we need,
Find one another.
we've got to find one another.
Yeah.
And I think that it's easy for two people to point fingers at one another and say it's your problem.
Yes.
It's our problem to solve.
Yes.
And I'm hopeful, once we've settled down the appointment of the new health minister, and the reality dawns on the government that the NHI, the way that they've proposed it, is completely unimplementable, cannot work. It's an enviable outcome, but the way they're proposing to do it can't work. We start to talk to one another.
Yes.
Because ultimately, what it's going to get down to, more doctors, more nurses, more hospital managers, and managing the big hospital infrastructure that the government already has responsibility for. We can't tell people what to do, and we don't know all the answers, but we can put our shoulder to the wheel and we can help. We just need the opportunity to be able to have constructive dialogue, and that's the piece that's been missing for us.
Last word from me to you is to say, to South Africans, thinking and worried about the future of healthcare, you saying you, as leaders in healthcare, are ready to engage whatever government minister and others to find the solution in a South African way, rather than to find the things that polarize. Is that the message that I'm hearing?
That's absolutely right. We've just said we've got a view on how we could make progress. It requires collaboration,
Yes.
and it doesn't require legislation that's done in a way that's just handed down, and it's not going to solve itself in the courts.
Yes.
So let's do the constructive South African way.
Yes.
Let's talk to one another.
Let's engage.
Understand what strengths we can capitalize upon
Yes.
as a country,
Yes.
as opposed to fighting each other
Yes.
with different views.
Yes.
Let's get to a common view and deliver it, because ultimately, accessible, affordable healthcare. Lincoln, this is about taking primary healthcare to the villages that you referred to in your
Yes.
opening address,
Yes.
to the townships that you
Yes.
referred to in your opening
Yes.
address. And it's not about compromising the highly complex, sophisticated technical delivery of care that's already happening very, very successfully.
Yes.
It's about making it expansive.
Brilliant. Pete, so happy that you came.
Thank you.
I know the delegates are going to enjoy to hear you. Thank you for the work that you do. Keep leading, both in South Africa and at a global level, and make healthcare a success. Thank you so much.
Lincoln, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.